Welcome to Living Your Wealth Today and Tomorrow, the show where we explore how to enjoy the wealth you've already built, as well as how to best plan for a successful financial future. I'm your host, Kelly Ennis, founder and president of Infinity Financial Strategies. Today, we're talking about truly living your wealth. If you've built meaningful wealth over the course of your life, you already understand discipline. You understand delayed gratification, you understand trade-offs. You understand that thoughtful decisions, repeated consistently, compound. And living your wealth does not mean abandoning any of that. It doesn't mean you stop accumulating. It doesn't mean you loosen standards. It doesn't mean you say yes to everything that looks convenient or comfortable. Living your wealth means using your resources thoughtfully and prudently in alignment with what matters most to you. It's not a shift away from responsibility. It's a refinement of it. And sometimes, the most powerful lessons about this come from very ordinary moments. Let me take you to a parking lot in March. I live in Connecticut. When people imagine Connecticut winters, they picture heavy snow in December, January, and February. But the truth is, we often get more snow in March. And, just to keep things interesting, sometimes we get 90-degree weather in March too. So the unpredictability, that's normal. The poor planning in this story, that was on me. Several years ago, we planned a March trip from Connecticut down to Florida. The day we left, it was beautiful. 60 degrees, bright sun, birds chirping, daffodils just beginning to push up through the soil. It felt like spring had finally arrived after a long winter. We drove to one of those airport parking companies where you can choose between self-park and valet parking. In this particular case, valet parking was $3 more per day than self-park. So, for the week, it would have been an additional $21. It was so nice out that I didn't hesitate. We don't need valet. It wasn't a careful analytical decision. It was a reflex. We can park ourselves. We're perfectly capable. Why pay extra? So, we self-parked. We grabbed our bags, waited for the shuttle, and flew to Florida. And we had a wonderful week. Relaxing, restorative, exactly what you hope a vacation will be. The kind where your shoulders drop and your breathing slows and you think, this is what we needed. The night before we returned, my husband, who had stayed home in Connecticut, called and said, "Would you believe they think we're going to get some snow tonight?" We both laughed. Snow? It had been 60 degrees when we left. It was March. It wouldn't be much. Our flight home was on time. Everything was smooth. But it had snowed. Not a light dusting. About 6 inches of heavy, wet snow. The kind that sticks and clings and packs down. It was above freezing when we landed, so things were already melting. No blizzard conditions, no travel delays, no big deal. Until we reached our car. The lot had been plowed, but our car was parked between two much larger vehicles. Snow had been pushed into rows. Packed, heavy, wet snow. Our car was essentially plowed in. There we were, at the end of a lovely week away, in light jackets, no boots, no shovel in the car, using a little snow brush to try to clear packed snow from around all the tires, the bumper, everywhere. Wet slush soaking into our shoes, cold hands, and fatigue setting in. That relaxed vacation feeling disappeared almost instantly. And the entire time, one number kept running through my head. $21. For $21 more, we could have had valet parking. Our car would have been brought to us, warmed up, cleared off, and ready to go. Now, the lesson here is not always choose valet. The lesson is not spend more money. The lesson is about mindset. Because the decision wasn't a conscious trade-off. It was automatic. We don't need that. Many of us have that reflex deeply embedded. We grew up in a DIY culture. You learn how to do things yourself. You fix things yourself. You maintain things yourself. You don't pay someone else if you're perfectly capable of doing it. Shows like This Old House and even Martha Stewart reinforced that mindset. Capability was a virtue. Resourcefulness was responsible. And let's be clear, that mindset likely contributed to your success. You didn't overspend. You didn't outsource everything. You didn't confuse convenience with necessity. And that discipline compounds. But here's the question. At this stage of life, when you have meaningful resources, does every decision still deserve to be filtered through, "We don't need that"? Or should some decisions be evaluated through a different lens? What is the true trade-off here? Because in that parking lot, I didn't even think. I just reacted. I was saving just $21. In reality, I was trading away ease. I was trading away comfort. I was trading away the smooth ending to a restorative week. The cost wasn't just financial. It was experiential. Living your wealth is about recognizing that financial decisions affect more than your bank balance. They affect your energy, your time, your stress level, your relationships, and your overall experience of life. And when you have wealth, prudence expands to include those dimensions. Let's talk about another common example. Imagine that tonight your family will sit down to a healthy, delicious dinner at home. But you didn't have to decide what to make, check what ingredients you have, write a grocery list, stop at the store, prep, or cook. Someone else handled the entire process. You still eat at home. You still gather around your table. You're not driving to a restaurant. You're not dealing with noise or wait times. But the mental load is gone. For many successful professionals, that mental load is the heaviest part. It's not the chopping of vegetables. It's the deciding, the planning, the fitting it into an already full day. When I speak with families who use meal services, even just one evening a week, they don't really talk about the food. They talk about relief. They talk about feeling like they found time. They talk about how the entire evening feels calmer. And yet, many people hesitate. We don't need that. We can cook. We should cook. That feels indulgent. But here's the question. What is most important about that evening? Is it important that you cook or that you and your family have a healthy meal together? Is it the act of cooking itself? Or is it connection, presence, energy? There's no universal answer. For some families, cooking together is meaningful. It's part of their identity. But for others, it's friction. The point of living your wealth is not to eliminate effort. It's to decide intentionally where your effort goes. The same conversation applies to house cleaning. For some people, cleaning is therapeutic. It creates order. It feels satisfying. For others, it's a constant drain. One more item on an already overwhelming list. Hiring someone to clean in that situation does not signal irresponsibility. It signals prioritization. The same goes for yard care, administrative help, travel conveniences, health support, even small upgrades that can reduce daily friction. The key is alignment. What matters most to you? What brings meaning? And what drains energy unnecessarily? When you've built wealth thoughtfully, you have the ability to ask those questions honestly. Let's take this deeper. Think about your typical weekday. Where does friction show up? Is it in the early morning rush? Is it in endless scheduling logistics? Is it in decision fatigue by the end of the day? Now imagine you could remove one or two of those friction points without jeopardizing your long-term financial security. What would that do? Would you be more patient, more present, more creative, more productive? We often evaluate spending in isolation, line by line. But the true evaluation should consider impact. If a $300 monthly service meaningfully reduces stress, improves health, or strengthens family connection, what is that worth? And here's something important. When spending is aligned with values, it often increases discipline elsewhere. If family time is a top priority, you may willingly invest in services that protect it, while feeling completely comfortable saying no to other lifestyle upgrades that don't enhance what you care about. So this clarity sharpens restraint. Living your wealth does not mean expanding spending across the board. It means being precise, intentional, and aligned. Let's talk about time. Time is one resource that does not compound the way money does. You can grow wealth. You cannot grow time. For many individuals in their 40s and 50s, this becomes increasingly clear. Children are launching. Parents may need support. Careers are at peak intensity. Energy is valuable. And wealth can be used to protect time. That might mean traveling in ways that reduce exhaustion. It might mean paying for direct flights instead of connections when possible. It might mean adding an extra hotel night to avoid rushing. This isn't extravagance. This is energy management. Think back to that snowy parking lot. The issue wasn't snow. It was friction at the end of a restorative week, a preventable disruption. Living your wealth means recognizing those moments before they happen. It means asking, what am I optimizing for? Am I optimizing solely for the lowest price? Or am I optimizing for overall experience? You just paid for a vacation. You just took time away from work. That wonderful feeling that you had when you landed, do you want to preserve that for as long as you can? What's the price associated with that? Sometimes the answer will absolutely be lowest price. Other times, experience matters more. And prudence and wisdom include knowing the difference. Let's zoom out further. Many successful professionals have structured their lives around work for decades. Work drives family schedules. Work travel dictates routines. And work opportunities dictate geography. And often, that alignment makes sense. Work generates income, and income builds wealth. But at some point, it's worth asking a different question. Is my work supporting the life I want? Or is my life constantly adjusting to accommodate work? Living your wealth may involve small recalibrations, negotiating flexibility, restructuring responsibilities, declining opportunities that no longer align. Not recklessly, not abruptly, but thoughtfully. If coaching your child's team matters deeply to you, can you schedule your work to reflect that? If volunteering fulfills you, can your calendar protect it? If being present at dinner each night is a priority, what supports that? Wealth provides optionality. And optionality doesn't demand radical change. It invites evaluation of each of the small items that make up your day. The discipline that built your wealth still matters. In fact, it matters more than ever because living your wealth responsibly requires clarity. It requires understanding your long-term financial picture, your spending capacity, your priorities, and your trade-offs. It's not about indulgence. It's about knowing the big picture. When your spending reflects your values, confidence increases, guilt decreases, and decision-making becomes calmer. Instead of reflexively saying, we don't need that, you begin asking, what does this support? Does this align with what we care about? Is this consistent with our broader financial plan? Sometimes the answer will be no, and that no will feel solid and peaceful. Other times the answer will be yes, and that yes will feel intentional, not impulsive. Living your wealth is also about modeling. If you have children, especially adult children, they are watching how you relate to money. Do they see money as something to be hoarded or feared, or thoughtfully used? Do they see that resources can create meaningful experiences, can reduce stress, can enable generosity? There's a powerful lesson in demonstrating balanced stewardship. Prudence and enjoyment are not opposites. They are partners. You can continue to accumulate, continue to invest, continue to plan for the future, while also allowing your resources to improve the quality of your daily life in ways that truly matter. That's not a contradiction. It's maturity. So here's a practical exercise. Over the next month, notice every time you automatically say, we don't need that. Pause. Instead of stopping there, ask, what is the full trade-off? What am I gaining by declining this? What might I be giving up? Then zoom out and ask, does this decision align with our values? Does it support the life we say we want? Does it preserve our long-term security? When those answers line up, decisions become clearer. That snowy parking lot moment was small, but it clarified something for me. Sometimes the responsible choice is not the cheapest choice. Sometimes responsibility includes protecting energy, protecting experience, protecting connection. And yes, protecting wealth for the future. It's not either or. It's working in partnership. You worked hard to build what you have, but the purpose of that work is not simply accumulation. It's optionality, flexibility, and alignment. It's the ability to say, this matters to us, and then structure your resources to support it. Living your wealth is not about spending more. It's about spending and structuring with intention. It's about recognizing that money is a tool, and tools are meant to be used carefully, thoughtfully, and in the service of something meaningful. As you look at your own life, your routines, your friction points, and your priorities, consider where small, aligned adjustments could meaningfully enhance your experience. Not extravagance, not carelessness, alignment. Because ultimately, wealth is most powerful when it quietly supports a life you genuinely enjoy living, while still securing the future you've worked so hard to build. If this conversation resonates, stay with us. In future episodes, we'll continue exploring how to steward your resources wisely, not just to grow them, but to align them with the life you truly want to live. Thanks for listening to this episode of Living Your Wealth Today and Tomorrow. This podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not tax, legal, or investment advice. Seek guidance from your legal and financial professionals before acting. For more insights on planning for your financial future, follow me on LinkedIn. And for more information on Infinity Financial Strategies, visit our website at infinityfinancialstrategies.net. If you enjoyed the show, please share it with a friend or family member who might benefit from listening, and please leave a review wherever you listen. Tune in next time for more tips and tricks on living your best life through financial planning.